Actually, there's something I need to do first. Much better. Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Cameron, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing 4 different expectations that I had for my banking internship and comparing those expectations with the actual reality of the internship. So if you are watching this video, you're probably a finance major or a business major in college, hoping to get a finance internship. Or maybe you already have an internship and you just want to hear about my opinions. Whatever the case may be, I think this video will be really interesting just because it would have been really helpful for me to hear going into this internship. As you will see, a lot of these expectations did not turn out to be true, and I think this is because there's an overall misconception within the finance world about what a banking internship has to be. If you are unfamiliar with my channel, my name is Cameron Galbraith. I am an incoming senior at the University of Florida studying finance, and this summer I have a banking internship with Regions Bank. Regions is a bank kind of known for having a friendly culture. It's based in Birmingham, Alabama, so it's not up in New York. So just those regional cultural differences can really make an impact on a company and, of course, the internship. I also need to make it clear that my internship is not investment banking, which I know is notorious for a lot of the expectations that I might discuss later on in this video. So again, I can't speak on what every investment banking internship is going to be like, but I am in the banking industry nonetheless. So maybe some of the things will apply to the industry as a whole. But regardless of that, I think a lot of the things that I will talk about will be relevant to really any internship. And with that being said, let's get into the first expectation. So the first expectation is probably one of the things I was most worried about, and that is that I would be working extremely long hours. Again, this is kind of just one of those things that you hear about all the time about first-year analysts and interns having to work crazy hours to get projects done in time. I personally was prepared to sacrifice my social life for the 10-week duration of my internship, so I definitely had this expectation of having to work really long hours. This has to be one of the most common expectations for the banking industry, and honestly most industries in finance or law or consulting. But the reality of the matter is that this just isn't the case. For myself, my internship is only allowed to be 40 hours at the max. The company did state that if my team needs me to work extra, then I am eligible for overtime pay, which of course is pay and a half, but they said that this would be a rare occurrence and really wasn't encouraged for the managers. I even had one situation so far where I definitely had a lot of work I needed to do, and the day was a Friday, and I probably only had an hour or so left until 40 hours, but I had a lot more work that could have been done that would definitely take me more than that hour. I had a meeting with my direct manager and I explained to him the situation. I told him I was 100% willing to work the overtime hours. It wasn't a big deal to me. I didn't have any plans that night. But then he told me that no, he really didn't want me to work any extra and that the bank really didn't want their interns having to work more than 40 hours. So because of this, I actually just went really hard for that next hour or so and was able to finish up the project. But I was really just surprised to see that they really just did not want me working the 40 hours, but I really was just surprised to see that they didn't want me working any overtime, putting in more work than I had signed up for, I guess. So that was kind of encouraging to see. Now, I personally wouldn't have had any issue with it, but I think it is kind of good to see a company that prioritizes associate well-being and a decent work-life balance. So this is the first expectation that proved to be wrong, and that is that I would be working tons of hours and have a lot of late nights. The second expectation that I had for my banking internship is that I was going to be strictly using Excel. Now, of course, Excel is still the language of finance, and I certainly have used my fair share of Excel, but I quickly realized that the responsibilities of my internship would entail way more than just Microsoft Excel. This too, I feel, is a pretty common expectation for banking or finance internships. At school, we constantly hear about the importance of being able to use Excel without a mouse and how important it will be in our day-to-day lives as a finance professional. Now, this certainly is the case. Excel 100% is important. You are still using it every day, but realistically, there are so many other softwares and platforms that are also being used that you need to understand as well. My responsibilities so far in the first 5 weeks of my internship have been way more than just Excel. I still, of course, have used Excel extensively so far. Even within Excel, I've had to use VBA to code macros. I've used the data from Excel to input into dashboards on Power BI. I have compiled data from Bloomberg. And of course, I've done a lot of research on various other finance websites and platforms. So I hope that kind of makes it clear that your job will not just be crunching numbers in Excel. That still will be a major part of your role, but it's really important that you are able to still learn other technologies, because that certainly will be asked out of you at some point in your internship. So this is the second expectation that I had for my banking internship that turned out to not be 100% true, and that is that I would strictly be using Excel. So the third expectation I had going into my internship is that I would have a lot of interaction with the other interns. The program I'm in, there are about 12 interns in total. Through the entire recruiting process, I had at least gotten to know them at a surface level, but I was really hoping to get to know them a lot better during the summer. I envisioned myself working on the same teams with them, working on a lot of projects, grabbing food, going out, all of that. And although I'm sure a lot of that still would be true if I weren't working remote, a lot of this expectation, though, is still wrong. For my internship, I was placed on a team where I am the only intern. My daily interactions consist of me talking to my direct manager, who is one of the higher up analysts on the team, as well as his manager and another analyst and another manager on top of them. So on a daily basis, I'm really not communicating or interacting with my fellow interns as much as I would like. HR for my bank still does their best to organize events for us interns to learn more about the company. But again, these are HR events, so they're not necessarily the greatest opportunity to make friends. Luckily, what my program decided to do is that we have an intern happy hour that is virtual every Wednesday. This is an opportunity for us to just all get on Teams and just chat for an hour. So this really has been a great time for us to get to know each other a little bit better. But again, it is on Teams, and it doesn't necessarily foster the same personal relationships and connections that you would make in person. So again, I understand that this expectation is obviously pretty skewed just because I am working remotely this summer. I would hope under normal circumstances, if I were in the office, things would be different as far as on a social level. But as far as professionally and your day-to-day tasks in your internship role, I really haven't had any projects with fellow interns. It's really been just me or working with one of the other analysts on my team. So this was the third expectation that was proven to be wrong, and that is that I would be interacting constantly with my other interns. Now, the fourth and final expectation I had going into my internship is that it was going to be a competitive and cutthroat environment. This is really how the banking industry is perceived to be. Everyone is competitive, everyone is backstabbing each other, trying to make it to the top, and frankly, that's just not the case for me at all. I personally wasn't expecting it to be extremely cutthroat or anything like that, but I was prepared for it to be extremely competitive and frankly just not as supportive as it actually has been. As I mentioned before, Regions is a more southern bank, so honestly, just the cultures between the South and the Northeast are completely different, so I'm sure that plays a major role with this expectation. But regardless of the actual culture of the headquarters that the banks are in, I really have just felt extremely supported and have thoroughly enjoyed the working environment and culture that I've been in. Everyone that I have spoken to has been extremely supportive of myself and for my career aspirations, whether it's actually with Regions or not. And I think that's something really unique. I was with one of my friends the other day playing golf, and I was telling him a little bit more about my internship and how everyone was so supportive of me, and he was honestly kind of blown away by it. This is a friend who is working at one of the top investment banks on Wall Street, and he definitely made me aware of the fact that this is pretty unique to have such a supportive team around you. So I guess this is something that I can't really speak on for all banking and finance internships, but this is something that I have experienced with my own internship. Everyone I have spoken to has just been extremely friendly. I'm very glad that the internship isn't extremely cutthroat and competitive. It is kind of like that at the University of Florida, so I am somewhat used to it and of course was mentally prepared for it, but it is definitely nice to be in a more supportive environment for these 10 weeks. Also, I think it's really important to mention that I have definitely done my best to be as friendly and as personable to the people I'm interacting with as possible. This also can just play a role in how people have been back to me. I think Ali Abdal said it in one of his recent videos, everyone's nice, you just have to go first. So I've definitely taken this to heart, and every conversation I have, I always try to be extremely friendly and make the person as comfortable as possible. At the end of the day, we are both people, and I know that they want the conversation to go just as well as I do. So when you go into it with this mindset and you are friendly to other people, they naturally will be friendly back. And I think that is why I have fostered such a supportive and friendly environment in my internship. So that is the fourth expectation that was proven to be wrong about the banking industry. And that is that everyone will be cutthroat and competitive and do whatever it takes to get to the top. Everyone I've come across in this internship has been extremely intelligent and hardworking, but they realize that you can go a lot further working with people instead of working against them. So that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you yourself are in the middle of an internship and you have experienced anything similar to this or anything different, I would love to hear about that in the comments down below. And of course, I have to plug the fact that I am now an affiliate for the Morning Brew. So if you want to be the most prepared and the most informed intern for your next internship, definitely subscribe to the Morning Brew. The link to that will also be down below in the description. It only takes about 10 seconds to sign up, and it truly will change your professional life. So why not do it? And of course, you guys can always follow me on Instagram, shoot me any question you might have. I'd love to connect, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.